The bad news continues to pile up for the Boston Bruins as we have another update regarding Jeremy Swayman and his contract, and this is definitely the worst one that we've learned of so far. I'm going to be talking about what this issue is, what the problem is going to be, and how this can be resolved from a Boston Bruins standpoint, as well as just what the general population of Bruins fans are thinking about this whole situation, as well as another nail in the coffin that we're going to be talking about a bit later. But before we get into all of this news that we have to bring here for you today, and I do want to bring you some good news, but unfortunately we can't. Jeremy Swayman's contract is not something that we've been quite a big fan of here lately. But before we get into it though, we have a word from our sponsor of this video, Fume. This video is sponsored by Fume. Fume is an award-winning flavored air device that draws flavor into your mouth. Fume fills the void that dishing a bad habit can leave. That means you still have something to reach for. The big thing here is Fume is not a vape. It has no vapor, no nicotine, non-toxic flavors, no batteries, and it simply does just look awesome and feels very, very high quality. Fume has served over 300,000 customers, and you can be the next success story. For a limited time, use my code DIGEST to get your free topper, and it's a perfect accessory for your Fume device. All you gotta do is slip it onto the mouthpiece for a softer, warmer feel. And for those who like to fidget, it's chewable, and it's also reusable, which is absolutely awesome. So if you like the sound of all of that, head to tryfume.com. That is tryfume.com, and use my code DIGEST, or you can also use the QR code on the screen. And with your purchase of the Journey Pack, you will get a free topper, which is absolutely awesome. So thank you, Fume, for sponsoring this video. And without any further ado, let's get into our really first and once again big main topic of this video here, which is Jeremy Swayman. And things are really getting worse than we thought. And I don't know how this can get much worse than we had originally thought of, based on this whole contract situation of still being very far apart. But with a new report that we have to bring you here today, this is I can't even explain how bad this has really gotten. First of all, for my thought on this whole situation, but also from the actual standpoint the Bruins are in. So with that, let's pull up this first screenshot here, which is the report. And says sources close to the situation tell me that while talks are ongoing, as of today, which was yesterday, August 22nd, 2024, the Bruins and Jeremy Swayman are far apart on contract term. Something that we hadn't even thought of could have been in a bad situation for the Bruins. Term for this contract and dollar amount. Now, dollar amount, that's something we've known. We've known that that dollar amount has really been the real hold for this contract. The reason that nothing has been even close yet has been because the parties are far apart. The Bruins don't want to pay Swayman upwards of $8-9 million, and his agent and maybe even Swayman himself are thinking that they could probably get $9 million plus, and that's where we see that split in both parties, as I mentioned. One wanting a lot, Bruins fans, and the Bruins wanting a little bit less to help out the team, but with that new report, term being the issue is something that should not be an issue. We know that Jeremy Swayman is going to be the future of this team, and Ned, that's the reason that this team traded Linus Ullmark. If they hadn't traded Linus Ullmark, maybe you could debate whether we give Swayman a 2-year deal, a 5-year deal, or even an 8-year deal and have these two goalies on contract for the foreseeable future. But that's not the case. We traded away Linus Ullmark, who, keep his name in mind because we're going to be talking about him later as well. But we traded him away before we have an extension, which kind of puts all the eggs in the basket of Jeremy Swayman, giving him kind of any possibility of a contract in his favor. You know, he's going to have the control here now. He's going to be the one who can fully take this contract into what he wants to do with it. And that's what we've seen. We've really seen the Bruins have no leverage on a contract at all because Swayman and his agent know that this is going to be their net. And they can kind of do what they want because they know that this team needs him. And let's move on to our second here, screenshot here, before I kind of get into a big ramble session, more than I've already been on. But from Mike Sullivan, we have to think about this as well. This is one that, you know, kind of will ease the mind a bit, but the RFAs who are not named Jeremy Swayman that are still available in the NHL, there's a lot of big names here, kind of all around that age group that Jeremy Swayman is in. But the big thing here with that is that Jeremy Swayman is the goalie. You know, he's the only goalie on this list, and the only one that really has a big enough impact on your team to completely change what could happen next season. And, you know, Mo Seider, Lucas Raymond, Seth Jarvis, all of those guys, they're still very, very good players. They're all players that will definitely help you win a game here or there and definitely contribute to the success of a team. But they're not goalies. You know, they can wait until a long time. They can kind of push it down to the last few minutes. You know, whether they miss a few games here or there, that's possible. Do I see it happening? No. But Jeremy Swayman, as I mentioned, is in a different situation, having the leverage all on his side and having that upper hand on the Bruins. And that's what the Bruins really are missing here. They definitely did screw up here on this whole situation. They definitely did make a major mistake in trading Linus Ullmark first, but you know, that's something you have to learn off of, and that's something that you probably should have thought of originally, but they ultimately did not. And pull up our another screenshot here that I wanted to say. This one's from Jimmy Murphy, kind of agreeing with what we've seen from Sean Hutchin here in that original quote. And once again, another respected reporter. For those who don't know, on a podcast with Pierre McGuire, is definitely in that world of hockey reporters and is respected as much as the next guy. But he says, hearing the same as I told Jeff Mannix on the Mannix brothers yesterday, I won't be surprised if Jeremy Swayman holds out of training camp. I think he eventually signs, but my gut says there's at least a few weeks from being over. And that's one thing that we didn't want to hear. You know, we wanted to see this contract done as soon as possible. We wanted to see Jeremy Swayman get the most out of the training camp, out of preseason that he can, to be ready to take on this increased level of play and increased amount of games that he will be playing in absence of Linus Ullmark. And that's really the point of concern that I have, is that he's going to come into the season cold. If he does not play in any preseason games and any training camp games or whatnot, he's going to come into this season having his first bit of on-ice activity with the team being the regular season. And that's one thing that still I don't want to see. You know, we all want to see him as soon as possible, obviously, but I think that's one thing that could certainly set a goalie's confidence off in those kind of situations. So let me know what you think about all this news here. A lot of negative stuff on Jeremy Swayman, and I hate to report it to you guys, but I'm trying to bring any bit of updates or any bit of news I can on this team, and especially Jeremy Swayman and his contract situation. But as I mentioned, you want to keep Linus Ullmark's name in mind, and this is what we have. It's another nail in the coffin to this whole situation that we're in right now. We know Jeremy Swayman is going to be the number one guy. We knew Ullmark got traded, and I think it was a bit too early. You know, we were going to see him traded no matter what, but I think the Bruins should have had a contract under their belt for Jeremy Swayman. And I know, if not all of you guys, a lot of you guys also agreed with this and have voiced your opinion on this whole situation as well. And this is a pretty sad update from our standpoint right now, but very happy for Linus Ullmark here. And this is from Sean Simpson. Hearing Ullmark has bought a home in Ottawa. Would not be shocked if we hear an extension before the season starts. It's been quite, if you've been to Sweden, you can understand Ottawa shares many of the same qualities of life, a great place for a young family. And, you know, I really can't see Linus Ullmark buying a home if he's only going to be there for 1 year. And keep in mind, he only has 1 year remaining on his contract at $5 million at this very moment without an extension. But if he's going to buy a house there, he's going to sign an extension. I think that's something that we will see soon. So we're going to have to kind of base a price off this. You know, maybe Swayman and Ullmark were talking in the back, you know, behind the scenes, that we're going to see a new contract between or both of them, and they kind of want to make sure both are paid. And I think that's a possibility, but ultimately, happy for Ullmark. It just kind of does suck that we got ourselves in this situation with Jeremy Swayman. So let me know what you think about all this news here in this video. Once again, as I mentioned, some pretty sad updates, some pretty tough updates for Bruins fans, but I think it's something that will work itself out. I think it's something that, although we're going to worry about now, we're probably going to worry about it up until we see that tweet or the report of him signing. We're going to worry about, but you know, it's a matter of steps until we do see this, whether it be a month, whether it be a week, whether it be a day. I'm not sure, but that's all I got in this video. Thank you, Fume, once again for sponsoring this video. You guys have been absolutely unreal with the support lately. We're almost at 4K, and if we could hit that before the season starts, that would be absolutely unreal. But as I mentioned, that's all I got in this video. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.